The morning snow fell gently against the windows of Bean and Bloom, creating tiny crystals that caught the warm amber light from inside. Emma wiped down the espresso machine with practiced movements, her blonde ponytail swaying as she worked. The cafe was quiet at this early hour, with only the soft hum of the heating system and the distant sound of traffic on the snowy streets outside. She had opened the shop 30 minutes ago, and the familiar routine brought her comfort. Steam rose from the milk frother as she prepared for the day ahead. Emma loved these peaceful moments before the morning rush, when she could arrange the pastries just so, and make sure every cup and saucer was perfectly clean. The bell above the door chimed softly, and a man stepped inside, shaking snow from his dark coat. He looked to be in his 30s, with neatly styled hair, and wearing a well-tailored suit under his winter coat. What caught Emma's attention immediately was the expression of worry on his face. His dark eyes darted around the cafe nervously, and his hands trembled slightly as he approached the counter. "Good morning," Emma said warmly, offering her brightest smile. "What can I get started for you today?" The man paused, seeming to struggle with something. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Finally, he spoke in heavily accented English.
I need help.
"Very important meeting, but He gestured helplessly, his frustration evident. Emma leaned forward slightly, her expression growing more attentive. "Take your time," she said gently. "What's wrong?" The man pulled out his laptop and set it on the counter with careful hands. The screen showed what appeared to be a presentation, but Emma could see immediately that something was not right with it. Charts and graphs filled the slides, but the text looked jumbled and unclear. "Presentation," he said, pointing at the screen. "For business meeting? Very important. But language?" He shook his head, looking defeated. "English not good enough. Need to, how you say, make perfect." Emma studied the screen more closely. She could see that the content was actually quite sophisticated. Financial projections, market analysis, growth strategies. But the English translation was rough and awkward, filled with grammatical errors that would make it difficult for an audience to follow. "What's your native language?" Emma asked kindly. "Spanish," he replied, then added, "but also Portuguese, Italian. I speak many, but English." He made a frustrated sound. Emma's eyes lit up. "Well, you're in luck," she said, moving around the counter to stand beside him. "I speak Spanish fluently. My grandmother was from Barcelona, and I spent summers there as a child." The relief that washed over the man's face was immediate and profound. "En serio? ¿Hablas español?" "Sí, por supuesto," Emma replied warmly. "And actually, I also speak Portuguese, Italian, French, German, and Mandarin. I studied languages in college, and I've always loved learning them." The man stared at her in amazement. "6 languages? But you are barista." Emma smiled, not taking any offense. "I am many things," she said simply. "Right now, I'm someone who wants to help you succeed in your meeting." "What kind of business are you in?" As the man began explaining his work in rapid Spanish, Emma poured him a coffee and settled in beside his laptop. His name was Carlos, and he had flown in from Madrid for a crucial presentation to American investors. His company developed sustainable technology solutions, and this meeting could determine the future of several environmental projects he was passionate about. Emma found herself drawn into the work immediately. Carlos's ideas were brilliant, innovative approaches to clean energy that could help communities around the world. But his English presentation failed to capture the elegance and importance of his vision. "Let me help you," Emma said, her fingers already moving over the keyboard. "We need to restructure some of these sentences and find more precise terminology." For the next hour, they worked together intensively. Emma translated not just the words, but the nuance and passion behind Carlos's ideas. She helped him craft phrases that would resonate with American business leaders, while ensuring that his authentic voice still came through clearly. "This section about solar panel efficiency," Emma said, pointing to a particular slide. "You want to emphasize the cost savings over time. American investors love long-term ROI data." Carlos nodded eagerly, impressed by her understanding of both the language and the business concepts. "You know about renewable energy?" "I read a lot," Emma said modestly, "and I care about the environment. What you're doing is important work." As they polished the final slides, Emma helped Carlos practice his pronunciation and suggested where he might pause for emphasis. She showed him hand gestures that would help convey confidence and gave him tips for making eye contact with his audience. "Remember," she said, "they want you to succeed. You're offering them something valuable, a chance to invest in the future." Carlos closed his laptop with a deep breath. The transformation in his demeanor was remarkable. The worried, frustrated man who had entered the cafe had been replaced by someone who stood straighter, smiled more confidently, and radiated quiet determination. "Emma," he said, "I cannot thank you enough. You have saved my company, perhaps many companies. This meeting," he shook his head in wonder, "you do not know what you have done." Emma waved off his gratitude with a gentle smile. "I just helped you polish what was already brilliant. The ideas were all yours." Carlos pulled out his wallet to pay for his coffee, but Emma shook her head. "It's on the house. Just promise me you'll let me know how the meeting goes." He hesitated for a moment, then reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a business card. Emma glanced at it casually, then did a double-take. The logo was one she recognized, a major international corporation known worldwide. And there, printed in elegant lettering, was Carlos's full name and title, Chief Executive Officer. Emma's eyes widened, but Carlos had already seen her recognition. "You helped me not because of who I am," he said quietly, "but because I needed help. That is, how do you say, very rare." Emma felt her cheeks warm, but she met his gaze steadily. "That's just what people should do for each other." Carlos smiled, an expression of deep respect and gratitude crossing his features. "My meeting is at 10 o'clock. When it is finished, I would like to come back and tell you how it went. And perhaps," he paused thoughtfully, "perhaps discuss how someone with your skills might help my company reach people in many languages, in many countries." As he headed toward the door, Carlos turned back one more time. "Emma, what you gave me today was more than language help. You gave me confidence. You reminded me that good people exist everywhere, in every job, in every place." After he left, Emma stood at the window watching the snow continue to fall. The morning rush would begin soon, and she would return to making coffees and serving pastries. But today felt different somehow, fuller of possibility. She smiled to herself, thinking about the unexpected ways that kindness could ripple outward into the world. Sometimes helping others helped you discover new things about yourself, too. The bell chimed again as her next customer entered, and Emma turned with her warm, welcoming smile, ready for whatever the day might bring.